It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. Know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 299. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi.
Hi. I know I was back last week, but I feel like I'm really back this week.
Oh, you're really back.
Yeah.
Gonna be sassy?
Well, yeah, probably. Probably I will.
So it's good to know that you're feeling better. You're still having some...
It's mostly concussion stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's really mostly what I have.
Yeah, it's amazing like how long that lingers and like it pops up and like it's not like getting better with a regular thing where like if you get better up to a point then you've achieved that point. It's like a save spot in a video game. Like that's not how brain stuff works at all.
No, it's like everything will be fine and then I'll be like, wait, what is that word? Or trying to multitask. And I've always been a person who multitasks really well.
Yes.
And so it is very disconcerting to me to like, I don't know, try to sit in a car and I can't look over at the screen because I'm trying to look at the traffic, which also my anxiety from the traffic is also way up. So that doesn't
Right.
help.
Yeah.
But so I know it will all come back. I mean, at least that's what they tell me. But it's very disconcerting to not be able to like hear two different people talking to me at the same time. Like, not like I didn't hear the words they said, but I know they were talking. Like, didn't hear them at all.
Right.
It's so disconcerting. But I feel like it's probably good to talk about because I think a lot of people don't know how long concussions can last and that how devastating they can be. I mean, I feel like, again, I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, yours is fairly minor, but it's fascinating how disruptive it can be even when it is a minor one.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm happy to report that we went to the ortho follow-up today to talk to them about my clavicle.
And he was like, why are you here?
He really was.
Yeah.
He was like, are you sure? I mean, he literally said to me, are you sure you got hurt? And he like pressed on it because it was so well healed on the x-ray. He's like, dude.
Yeah. He's like, I'll give you a reason to be here.
He's like, does this even hurt? I was like, yeah, it does, actually.
It's like when your parents used to get mad at you for crying. I'll give you a reason to cry.
But he was very impressed with my range of motion, which I completely owe to physical therapy.
Yeah.
I have been so impressed with all the things we are learning at physical therapy.
I think we need to take a quick moment to spotlight the level of restraint that I had.
Oh, God, when
the doctor introduced himself as Dr. Wang.
You did.
Like I
thought you might have gotten it all out of your system before, but apparently you still felt like you needed to restrain yourself.
Well, I mean, it's just hard to see. I'm
That's
not even.
what she said.
I'm not even trying. Not even trying. So I honestly it's always been kind of a point of pride for me. I don't tend to make jokes about people's names because I always feel like
it's beneath you because it's too easy.
There's no joke I'm going to make that this person hasn't already heard.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like they're like, oh, okay. So I didn't, but I wanted to. I had like 10 of them all queued up. That's just how my head works. But I'm like,
over here like, is everything okay? Am I going to be able to snorkel when I go on vacation in a few weeks? And Tom's over here just making dick jokes.
Ranking dick jokes in my head. So
that's how we roll.
Yeah. I'm like, I think the wrong one of us got the concussion.
No, you'd be miserable. You'd be like, oh no, I lost my ability to make the jokes.
There should be a joke here, and I don't know what it is. Oh dear. So I was just surprised he wasn't a urologist. That's all. So in the grand scheme of things, though, they said that you don't need to go back for the clavicle part. So we're checking things off rapidly.
Yeah.
Just, it's really right now, like you said, it's just the lingering from the concussion so far. So
yeah. And I definitely am going to have scars from the road rash. Like that keeps becoming more and more apparent every week. And I still have my goose egg, although
it's getting
much
smaller
reduced.
and smaller. Yeah.
You really can't even see the black eye. Like I have to look for that.
Yeah. I haven't gotten a dirty look in public in like a week now. So that's great.
Yeah. So, and I've got a little tweak in my left knee still, but physical therapist doesn't seem worried about it. He says that if we can move everything the way it's supposed to move, we don't need to worry about it. So
he does it for a living.
I'm going to let him tell me what to do.
Yeah. So it's a pretty busy week this week.
Whew, I feel like that's an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Not necessarily great controversy, but just lots of stuff.
Yeah. It's like we're ramping up. The spring season is going to be a big one over at the Peloton. That was the Peloton.
The Peloton.
Yeah.
So what, pray tell, is all this exciting stuff we have in store?
Lots of new features. Lots of changes, little changes, big changes. There's just a lot going on at Peloton this week. So we're going to talk about all of that. I don't want to get too into it just here. We're also going to talk about just some things like where Peloton is being featured. We're going to talk about where all the instructors are. We're going to talk about another lawsuit. We're going to talk about, oh my God, guys, there's so much going on with the instructors. Like the instructors just,
yeah,
they're everywhere. We'll just sum up. They are literally everywhere. And
there's one sitting here right next to me. Oh wait, that's our dog.
She'd be a cute instructor though. And of course, we got to talk about the artist collaborations, and we have past guest updates out the wazoo. Apparently, not only instructors are really busy, but also people who have been on the show. And then we have a bunch of things for in case you missed it. Dr. Jenn is visiting us, and we have a visit from Angelo at MetPro as well. So.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, iHeart, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you're there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. That's always helpful and appreciated. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Maybe if you like what you hear, share an episode or a post in your social media feed. That's all, just the easiest thing you can do to help us out, just to let people know. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/theclipout, where you can watch these episodes now in color. And can you tell I've been watching a lot of old TV?
I mean, I can.
They would do that on the old shows now in color. You can also, what's the other? Also, our Patreon, patreon.com/theclipout, where you can get these episodes ad free. A lot of times you get them early. If we get them early, you get them early. And you also get the occasional bonus episode, which we just put one out a few days ago, giving you a more in-depth look into what Crystal's been going through, and some of our TV tips.
Yeah.
Things that we watch that we think you might like. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
So a big change in how you will be interacting with Peloton on social media moving forward.
Yeah, Peloton is launching a new social media channel on Instagram, and it's going to be called Peloton Studios. So our understanding is that this is very different from One Peloton and very different from Peloton Apparel, because this is going to be really focused on the member experience, the behind the scenes, the VIP, if you were at the studios, the things you would be seeing. So this is a way for Peloton to bring all of the things that happen kind of backstage to us. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really smart to delineate them that way, and that, like the One Peloton account is more like the front facing account for people who maybe haven't fully entered the world of Pelotonia yet, and this is for the people who are already completely on board and can't get enough, and it'll kind of, I guess, aggregate a lot of instructor content, so you don't have to necessarily, especially like it used to be, there were like 12 instructors to follow.
Right.
Now there's like 58 instructors to follow. So like that can overwhelm a feed, and And so I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, it's literally my whole feed.
And so now, like, people can follow just that and maybe handpick their absolute favorite instructors. But I also think it's really smart to, like, it will kind of force people to see maybe instructors that they wouldn't see normally, because people get really baked into, like, are locked into, I ride with Robin and Cody. That's it. And when they go to do a ride, they just want to get their workout out of the way, and they're not hunting for a new experience. It's Robin and Cody, and they're done. Right. And so this is a good way for people to maybe see some of the other instructors that they wouldn't normally think to ride with, run with, or follow on the gram.
No, I totally agree. And like, I feel like this is going to be a great place to highlight things like, I think my favorite kind of backstage experience ever is like the love-hate relationship between Jess Sims and Maddie Majacomo. And like the teasing that goes on, especially at Halloween, with the way that Maddie likes to scare the crap out of Jess Sims. Like, this would be a great way to keep track of that. Or whenever Peloton went to the row event, like, to be able to have a place to live stream and to be able to have what's going on, not just through the instructors, but like through the social media team. I think that's a great way to do that as well. So I'm really excited to see what they do with this. And I'm excited to see what all of these mysterious posts mean that they posted up here.
Yeah, they already kind of came out hot with the post about homecoming.
Yeah. So all it says is, this year we're bringing homecoming to you.
So do you think that means that it's just going to be another virtual homecoming, or do you think there's going to be some sort of, they're going to certain cities to set things up? Or
I honestly don't think it means either of those. I honestly think that it means that they are going to use this channel to bring homecoming to the people who can't go. I think it's going to be an in-person event. I think they know not everybody can go, and I think this is a way to share it with everybody.
Oh, okay. Interesting. That's an interesting interpretation. We shall see if that ends up being accurate.
Yeah, we've got lots of time. It's only March.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's only 8 weeks away. What?
Yeah. It's not that far away.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And we will be talking to the person that will be overseeing that project, I guess, next week.
Yes, it's going to be Kaylin. We're going to talk to Kaylin, and she is going to give us all the dirt, all the details, all the things that we all want to know what's going on with the new social channel. So we will be sure and have that up for you next week so you can listen to her directly and hear it right from her.
The Peloton Guide has taken voice commands out of beta, so now you can fully utilize them.
Yeah, and they had some that were like already being used, but they have, what this beta was doing was like taking a bunch of new voice commands and working on them in the background. Now, there are a whole bunch of new things that you can do. Like, you can, after you get done with your workout, you can be like, okay, Peloton, search for all the 15-minute upper body Rad Lopez classes, and Peloton will do that. It will search and bring it up for you. Yeah. And so you could already use it for things like increase my weights to 10 pounds, and it would do that. But now you can do a whole bunch of searching and things like that. And I think that's amazing. I really like this feature with Guide. It's a great ad.
Absolutely. So can you think of other things that you can do with it besides?
If you scroll, I can.
Oh, okay.
My brain doesn't work as well, so
I get it.
Okay, so let's see here. We can say stop right there. You can say select a third one. So after you've picked a class, you said go search for the classes, then you can say, okay, Peloton, select the third one, and then you can tell it to go do weights, and then you can tell it other things about the search. So I think the big thing that people are going to find is the searching, but also while you're taking the class, you can play, pause, change weights, you can go forward movements, you can go back movements. So if you miss something, so those are all really great features to have, because when you might be laying on the floor in the middle of a yoga pretzel move, or you might be on the floor like trying to do some kind of move with weights and you have them lifted above your head and you don't want to get up to go, do that with the remote. This is a lot easier. So, and
we should also remind people that not only does it have new features like that, it's also cheaper than ever. Yeah.
That sale that went up last week. Well, actually, they didn't say it was a sale, but the new price was $195. Yeah. So it's a great time to get it.
And Mother's Day is just around the corner.
Oh yeah, it's March. So if that means that if we're going to have homecoming soon. That means Mother's Day is right after homecoming. So be prepared, people.
I am
be
prepared. I've already got something all picked up.
Do you really?
I do. Already
Wow.
purchased.
Holy crap.
Yeah. You're going to love it.
Oh my God. I feel a lot of pressure now because that means Father's Day is right after that.
I know. That's why I do it that way.
Ah.
I'm not dumb. Besides, Father's Day is always kind of a ripoff because like Mother's Day, the kids are in school. Father's Day, the kids aren't in school. So like they'll have all the kids do things for Mother's Day, and on Father's Day, you get nothing.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
that's how it works.
Yeah. But some moms do more than other moms. Let's just say that.
I am painfully well aware. Moving right along, there have been changes to the Waitlist program for people who want to attend studio classes.
Yeah. So a lot of people have been, I'm just hearing about it everywhere that they're seeing people are ending up in these classes. How is this happening if they have these class limits?
Because they're greedy jerks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they really are. I love how they get on social media and brag about what a jerk they are. Like they think they're cute and instead people hate them.
Yeah,
But,
like
keep posting it. At any rate, so even though there's class limits, you can still use the wait list. And so let's say, Tom, we're going to New York.
Okay.
And I'm trying to manifest this by saying it. And that when we get to New York, I am in 4 classes over a weekend.
Well, clearly.
Okay. So now I get there. I've already used up all my spots, but I'm at the studio. What do I do?
You hang out in the lobby
Yeah, I do.
the whole day?
I do.
I can show you where all the plugs are for your laptop.
You do know.
I do know. Yeah.
But now what we can do is, what I can do is get on the wait list for as many classes as I want. Now, doesn't mean I'm going to get in. I'm not saying that's a guarantee.
Right.
But Peloton is always going to make sure they have every seat filled before all else. So if you've already taken all your classes that you had allowed to you and you're still at the studio, get on the wait list.
You might as well throw your name on there.
You might get in. And now I kind of am under the impression that this is going to evolve over time so that there's probably at some point going to be priority given. Like, if Tom, you were to take a class, and I was to take 4 classes.
They would give me whatever class I wanted. If I were to take a class, they would be like, absolutely, right this way. You want Stephen Little? We'll bring him back.
They'll just push me off the bike to get you in there. So let's say that you signed up for 1 class, I signed up for 4, and then you and I both get on the wait list. Well, eventually, the way this is going to work, in my understanding, is that you're going to be next in line for the wait list over me.
Because I haven't taken as many classes, or I'm not on the books for as many classes.
Right.
Gotcha.
And so this doesn't matter when you signed up for the wait list. This is about being in the studio. If you're not there, obviously you can't get on it. So
they're going to try and weight it to make it more equitable.
Right. And then also, if the class has a last minute cancellation or a no-show, then they can pull somebody from the in-studio standby, even if they weren't on the wait list. So that means you didn't even get on the wait list, but you're just standing there talking.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
They could pull you in.
What? No.
You could be on standby.
I'm not going to be on standby. Also, if you get a class and then someone who's taken fewer classes shows up, they have a giant hook and they can pull you off a bike just like Showtime at the Apollo.
Yeah.
They just grab a hook and just boom, you're off the bike.
Yeah, and this also means that you can. This also means that you're going to want to have credits in your account just in case this occurs, because they're going to want to still charge you for that if you're on the wait list. Like you had to get on the wait list, you needed a credit in your account. Now, if you get pulled in from the standby, you're just standing there and they grab you randomly, you're not going to use a credit. But
that's
if you,
just a gift.
That is a gift.
Your caller 10.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But if you are on the wait list, then you're gonna still use it. And if for some reason you get on the wait list and you don't get into the class, you will get the credit back into your account. Yes. So we want to make sure we make all that clear. Also, for those of you asking, yes, the same jerks keep getting on the same bikes. Okay, that totally happens. And how that happens is they may or may not lie and say they have a milestone every single time. They get then priority to get into the studio, shove everyone else out of the way, and get onto their favorite bikes. We haven't figured out a way around that because we rely on the honesty policy, and that's Some people aren't.
Yes.
So
It's some people at the take a penny, leave a penny. They just take a penny.
they just take. Some people are
making
just
up milestones.
takers.
This is my 347th ride, and 347 was my address growing up. It's my home address milestone.
While I've been here this weekend, while I've been standing here in the studio, I just took 10 classes. They were all 5 minutes on my phone. So it's now my 100th. It happens, people.
Peloton has removed hashtags from the home screen.
No.
Oh, they have not
No.
removed hashtags from the home screen. I don't understand.
I know. Stop talking. Oh my God. Everyone's
Okay.
going to freak out.
I'm also going to
Hashtags
throw
are
this
still
out there. You're going to need to fix the show notes.
Oh, dear God. Okay. I've got some reading to do.
Yeah.
So they didn't get rid of hashtags. What they got rid of is the class that is currently taking. So we have a hashtag for the clip out, for example.
Okay.
So what was happening on the screen is that before you could see which people were using the clip out hashtag and currently taking a class, and then you could jump into that class with them.
Okay.
Okay. But that is gone now. Now,
Due to popular demand
or lack thereof.
or lack thereof.
So, I mean, Peloton's always looking at data. They're not
For
going to
sure.
remove something that people were using frequently. So there are people that are telling me they're upset about this, and I got to call bullshit. Like, you were not using it enough, or they were, but not enough people were.
Right.
So aggregate wise, we were not using it enough. But they did replace it, so you can still see what classes that were taken by the clip out, but you can't hop into a current class with them. Now, if you're following that person, you can still see what classes they were taking.
Okay.
You're not getting rid of that ability. You can still see your friends and see what classes they were taking, just not separated by hashtag. I personally am very glad that they are looking at these things, because if there is a finite amount of resources, right?
Yeah.
And people aren't using the resources, then by all means, put the resources where people are using the things.
It's got to go. There's a reason we don't do recipes on this show anymore.
Right.
Right.
It's taking up my time and nobody cared.
It went. So it went away.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I'm still around
You're still worth my while, Tom.
for now. For the moment.
Forever. Because I love you more.
So ABC has a show called Not Dead Yet, and apparently it had a big Peloton mention this week.
Yeah, I heard episode 1 and 2. We're going to show it to you on the screen here, but there's an ad, so we got to wait till it's done, and it's counting down real slow.
It is. So I'm not familiar with the show. I just know it stars the lady who was on a show called Jane the Virgin.
I have no idea. I've never seen it.
I've heard it was a good show, but I've never watched it.
Didn't watch Jane the Virgin. Didn't watch Not Dead Yet. But people are saying good things, so we might get around to it. Oh, no. It says bad HTTP status. What did you do to the HTTP?
Whatever it wasn't good.
It's going to make us watch another commercial.
I know it always irritates me the way it's like, it doesn't have any problems playing the commercial. The show, on the other hand.
Okay, here we go.
There, now it's playing. But I don't know, do we see a Peloton or do they just talk about it?
I don't know.
I'm going along the bar at the bottom to see if
Because you can't see anything because it's a black screen. This is awful.
What? You're not seeing this?
No, I see a black screen.
Oh, on my end, I'm getting a video.
No, I got nothing. It's a black screen. There's nothing here.
Yeah, on my end, I'm totally watching the show.
I mean, I see you moving along the bottom and I can see that little box, but that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I got the whole show going on here.
That's weird.
So anyway, if you want to hear Peloton mention, this has been great. We're really good at this. Did you know we won an award? Show them the award we won. Believe it or not, we won an award for this. Here it is. We actually got 2 of them. But yeah.
It wasn't this episode.
Well,
I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you that.
Oh, at the very end, I saw a flash of screen.
I don't want to hear about it anymore. Retail Gazette, which is in the UK, for those of you keeping score at home, they took us inside the new store at Covent Garden. Is that how you say it?
Never can say it right. People send me all the things telling me how to do it. I always do it wrong, so I'm not saying it.
Okay. It's Sea Garden.
Yep.
That's what we're going to call it.
I think you're actually correct. I think
Okay.
you are saying it correctly.
I watched a lot of Benny Hill as a child.
Yeah. I think it's Covent.
Okay,
I
at
don't know.
Covent Garden. So they just had an article kind of showing off what the new store looks like. So if you can't make it over that way, it's a good way for you to see what it looks like.
Yeah, and for those of you wondering why Cody was in London last week, and it was to do the 2-for-1 ride with Leanne. Yes, 2, number 4, number 1. Yeah, we got it. And it took a while.
At least you have the excuse of a head injury.
I do.
I just looked at it and was like, 241?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Is that a new artist?
That seems like a lot of rides.
But after 8 messages, I got it.
Yeah.
But he was also there to celebrate the new store opening, and this is like right outside of the studio. So it's, you know how in the New York studio they have part of it that is dedicated to the boutique,
the little retail area.
They are doing the same with this, and so that is why that was such a big deal. So congratulations to the UK store and the UK studio. It's a big deal.
Peloton is currently celebrating Women's History Month.
Yeah, all the month of November. Whoa,
head injury.
All month of March, there will be women's history classes. They will be spread throughout, and there are going to be some special ones coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about some of those special rides and runs, just classes in general. But if you are eager to get started and you don't want to wait till they show up on your calendar or on your schedule, they have a collection for Women's History Month. So you can go back to the prior year celebrations, and there are some amazing classes. My favorite ever Women's History Month class was a run with Becs Gentry when she talks about the first female who ran a marathon. And it is Catherine Switzer, I think is how you say her name. And love that story. I love that run. It is so empowering. I remember very clearly running outside on the road, which I will never do again, but it was amazing. And so it just really pumped me up. So if you haven't taken that, I highly recommend that you go do, regardless of how many amazing classes we have this month. Okay, I am done.
You can take all the time you need. It's Women's History Month.
That's right, damn it.
I'm not going to interrupt you. So there is a podcast called Sounds Like a Cult, where I guess they just talk about things that sound like they could be cults. And if they finally got around to spotlighting Peloton. Yeah. I'm surprised it took this long.
I am too.
Apparently one of the people on the show loves Peloton, so they were probably fighting it. They were probably like, the cult I'm in is not a cult.
It's not a cult.
It's all the other cults that are cults.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. But I'm glad that it got highlighted. I've been hearing really good things about the episode. It's apparently really good and a lot of fun. So if you get a chance to check it out, please do so.
The website Pocket Lint has a review of the guide, and they were fans.
They were. I love it. Strong proposition for strength training. Doesn't that sound like so proper?
It does.
Yeah, it's great. It's a good review, though. And I really, the longer the guide is out, the more I'm seeing the benefits of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still going to be sticking with my tonal. I love my tonal. But I think that this is a solid,
Look, the tonal is a major investment.
It is.
I mean, there's just
the huge difference between $4,000 and $195. You can't. Those are two different things.
And your monthly fee already covers this, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like, we love tonal, but we also get that if you're looking for strength training, but you don't want to spend that kind of money to augment your Peloton workouts, I mean, that's not a crazy place to land.
Yeah, I do hope that Peloton continues to double down on this and can continue that creation of programming and helping people get to the next level of things. That's the one thing that I feel like they need to have a little bit more they need to have their arms around it more to make it easy for people. They've made huge strides on that this year, but I'd like to see even more because I'm greedy.
Peloton in court. Who's suing Peloton now?
We have yet another Peloton lawsuit. They've been knocking them back left and right, but we got a new contender enter the ring.
Those are slow, like whack-a-moles popping up.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what that was.
So when you play whack-a-mole, the moles are way up here by your head?
Well, they were popping up towards me, and I couldn't see exactly where my hand was because the camera is
Those
covering.
Are some giant whack-a-moles. Where are you playing whack-a-mole?
Giant land.
Okay. I'm a little worried about these moles. It's more like whack-a-bear. Is it cocaine bear?
Oh my God, cocaine bear. You guys, cocaine. Can we just go on a little
on cocaine bear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God. God. Okay, first of all, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, I was really not looking forward to seeing that movie.
How can you not look forward to a movie called Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, it's called Cocaine Bear.
Right.
We have very different views on that.
It's got a bear and it's got cocaine. It's got something for everybody.
I was really dreading it. And I just thought, like, how dumb is that? And a lot of times when people have a dumb movie, they can't pull it off. And
Right.
and honestly, this one could have been dumber.
I wish it had been a little crazier, actually.
Yeah.
But
I just got to say, for any of you out there who have ever had road rash, there's a scene in this movie that might be a little triggering for you.
yes, you did not like that scene.
Did not.
At all.
No.
But we should also warn people, a trigger warning, if you've ever had a cocaine bear, this movie will also be triggering.
It will.
But
yeah.
you've probably already surmised that.
Yeah. Well, if they're alive, because apparently it's pretty touch and go.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear.
And if you want to hear more about Cocaine Bear, you can hear that on this week's episode of Real Spoilers.
But I wasn't on it.
No.
So you can hear everybody's opinion except for mine.
Well, they just heard yours.
I know.
Yeah. So I promise you, more people just heard your opinion of Cocaine Bear than will hear our opinion of Cocaine Bear.
Well, yeah, that's probably true.
I see the data. It's definitely true. It's definitely true. So anyway, who's suing Peloton now? That's what people are screaming at their phones.
All right. So I honestly don't know who is suing them. It seems to be like one of those, like, is this a class action lawsuit? Or
Yeah,
is
I don't
this
know.
like,
So this is behind a paywall, so we only get the first paragraph and then we have to surmise.
and
But
my usual attorneys that are in my inbox, they didn't send me the Law 360, which
Yeah.
they've got lives, so that's okay.
for sure. So according to the headline, it says the Peloton board faces insider trading.
Suit on pandemic hype claims.
Yeah, so it seems like the claim they're making is that they knew that the stock was going to tank when the pandemic was over.
So they just sold a bunch of stuff to get out in front of it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that. Why would anyone know that? Like, it seems obvious looking back. But in that moment, no one was saying that. I don't know why they would have any better intel than the people at Zoom or the people. You know what I mean? There were lots of stocks that were impacted when COVID kind of quote unquote ended. And so I don't know why we would expect the people at Peloton to have any better prognostication tools that they've been hiding from the public than any other corporate board. But
I agree. I think it's a bunch of nothing.
yeah, but
doesn't mean it won't settle and get a bunch of money. So.
it could. Yeah, it very well could.
Well, we will see. Keep an eye on it. We'll fill you in because these are such great details.
I'm sure this will be resolved just in time.
Oh, I have a puppy. Oh,
I'm sure this will be resolved just in time for Cocaine Bear 2.
that sounds like a good time.
I think my guess is it'll be called Cocaine Bears.
Cocaine Bears?
Yes. Coming up after this, Dr. Jenn will have workout tips for someone who just had their hip replaced.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She's also a 5-year national team member in rhythmic gymnastics and sports psychology for USA Gymnastics. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I have a question I just know you're going to enjoy answering. This is from Andrea Hardy Ihara. Aerobically, she feels she is very strong, but she had her hip replaced recently, and she is looking for ideas on how to get into a workout regime that regains flexibility. And I know this is something you feel very strongly about.
Yeah. Well, look, you know that I am all about the stretch before the workout and after the workout. Obviously, check with your doctor, check with the surgeon who did your hip replacement, make sure that you are okay to do, all of your previous activities first before you do anything. But in terms of flexibility, and look, I come from a super flexible background. The gymnastics that I did was rhythmic gymnastics, except with the ribbons and hoops and clubs and ball, where you have to be able to do over splits and like super flexible things.
What's an oversplit for?
I knew he was going to ask
I don't know.
that.
I mean, one, I'm a boy. Two, I know nothing about sports.
My coach, when we did splits, she would put our front foot on the bleachers. So it would be about a foot high, 2 feet high, and our back foot on a folding chair. And push us down.
And that's legal? That seems...
Yes.
You should have contacted the authorities.
And she would say it makes champions.
Well, I mean, she was right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was that. Like, so I come from a flexible, kind of stretchy background.
Do you break out into a cold sweat whenever you see a folding chair now?
I don't, because I associate with success.
Okay.
nice.
Okay.
Nicely done.
We have a different relationship with athletics.
And pain for sure. Well, and I think that it's really important that she start to integrate stretching classes and yoga classes as kind of her baseline, since her aerobics are good, that she's not worried about her endurance, but she wants to make sure that she is able to have that flexibility. And there are some great classes, great yoga classes that are specifically about hips. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen them. Well, Tom, you won't stretch no matter what I do.
Yeah.
So you probably have, but Crystal, you've probably seen them, and they're really good. Some of them focus on like the flexibility, some on the strength, some are kind of a combo platter. I think also doing some floor stretches. A lot of the floor stretches are very geared towards hip flexibility, leg flexibility, but really just creating a regular regimen, a regular plan for yourself each week that includes stretching as the base.
Yeah, I just today I saw somebody recommending Kristen McGee's hip mobility for stretching out your hips. So if somebody's looking at that, like, and you can find it really easily because it has hips right in the title. So that's an excellent suggestion.
I just thought it meant the mobility was really cool.
No.
Okay.
It's hip. You're a hip cat.
I think cats were hep.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just... We're getting into 20s nomenclature.
Exactly.
It's a rabbit hole.
Yes. I think rabbits are hip.
Oh, no.
Cats are hep. That's how that...
Okay.
No? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's best just to humor him so it's over quicker.
It's the secret of our relationship. So on that note, Dr. Jen's like, please let me out of this. Until next time, where can people find you?
On all social media, especially Instagram. I post my workouts, my Peloton workouts on Insta story at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 ends on Jenn, 2 ends on Man. And you can find me instyle.com. I have a weekly column called Hump Day with Dr. Jenn.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
Jess King and her wife, Sophia, are pregnant once again.
They sure are, but this time Sophia is the one having a baby.
That seems fair.
It does.
Yeah.
That's a good way to
I bet you there are lots of women out there that are like, yeah, you have the baby now.
Well, I think it's awesome because it's great to keep, like, one person can have it really close to the other one. They'll have the kids close in age, but like you don't have to feel like you're pregnant that entire time. Like not one person has to feel pregnant the entire time.
Right.
I really think, and if it's important to you as a woman to carry a baby, what a great way to do that as well.
For sure.
So I like a lot of things about this. I think it's really neat.
It makes sense, the division of labor.
It does.
Okay.
I see what you did there. I got it.
Someone at People Magazine right now is like, damn it, that's the headline. Son of a bitch.
That's funny. You think People Magazine listens to us.
That's fair. So Ben Alldis was teasing a new project this week.
He sure was. He was saying that like he's got a new thing coming up. It's going to be out of the studio. It's going to be off the bike. And then
By the time you hear this, you should already probably be aware or be public knowledge that it's a book.
It is a book, yeah. And it's going to be called Raise the Bar. How exciting. Another Peloton instructor to join the ranks of the author club.
Yeah.
How many Peloton instructors can be best-selling authors in 1 year?
Yeah.
We shall see.
I think it's interesting because since he's a UK instructor, right? It's like the American instructors are obviously very popular, but they haven't been in the UK as long, so that he's already a big enough name over there that he can get a book deal.
Well, it's just crazy to me that Ben and Leanne have been part of Peloton since 2018. And I don't know when they actually started. It might have been 2017.
Right.
But it's just crazy to me because that's a long time. So like Ben and Leanne have been around from a Peloton standpoint for quite a while. So if you think about how many instructors that started in the last 2 years versus who started in the UK, like he's on the very early end of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's just having been a lot of people won't even look at the UK instructor sometimes. Like they want the American one. Yeah, they just kind of like, that's for there, this is for here.
I do think some of that is starting to, I think those barriers are coming down. I
agree.
I hear a lot more people talking about the UK instructors than I did even a year ago. And I think some of that is honestly because Peloton has been so careful about how they're programming times. I know people have a lot of issues with how they do the schedule. Granted, and let me be clear, I am not always 100% loving it either.
Right.
So I get that, but I do think that there is a lot of thought that goes into it that some of us don't realize in the moment. So I think it's important to see.
And I believe this is already up at Amazon, so you could probably go and try and make a pre-order if you are so inclined.
Absolutely.
Ash Pryor talked to Yahoo Life about dealing with all the body shaming comments that came along with being announced as a Peloton instructor.
Yeah, I love her.
Yeah.
She's so funny. She's like, I just love her energy. Like she's so blunt, but also like with a smile.
Yeah.
You know? And just non-apologetic for being who she is. And I really, really love that. But the fact that she can do it with a smile is kind of my favorite part.
Yeah, that's can't always be easy.
No, it can't. And I really love her energy on the rower. And I cannot wait to be able to take rowing classes again. I miss the rower. So anyway, very cool for Ash. Congrats.
So Selena Samuela was teasing a big announcement.
She sure was. And if you're watching on YouTube, you will see that she is in the picture with a PXG hat and clubs behind her. And she announced on the 1st that she is going to be teaming up with them this spring to do a collaboration. And she's really loving their new spring line. So congrats to Selena.
Before we knew what it was going to be, I did some show prep. You've been hearing all about the chat GPT.
Yeah.
So I plugged it into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And just said, what is Selena Samuela's big announcement? And then the artificial intelligence, it goes in the world, it grabs all the Peloton information, it compiles it, and gave us an answer. And it said, based on all the other things that are going on with Peloton, it said that she was writing a book and that book was pregnant. So...
That seems accurate.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, that sounds accurate for ChatGPT too.
Becs Gentry is back in the office.
Yes, she is. I'm so glad to see it. Tunde snapped a picture with her, and I love seeing that. But if you wanted to see more, Becs had a whole video where she kind of like did a reel of all of the first day things back, and she will be on the schedule next week. I am so excited to have her back. I love Becs. It's wonderful to have her, and maybe I'll even get to take a class.
Maybe you'll
know.
be back too.
That would be nice.
So as you're probably already aware, Alex Toussaint is a brand ambassador for Smartwater. We're playing a fancy Smartwater commercial there. Look at it running by the ocean. See all that? Did you see the ocean?
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Smartwater.
Dumb water.
Oh, that's dumb water?
You're not going to drink salt water.
No.
That'd be dumb, right?
That would be dumb.
That's dumb water.
Okay. I got it.
Smart water is water That's smart.
Okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right.
I bought a bottle of Smartwater, did my taxes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's smart water, honey. It's smart.
Did you do my taxes when you did yours?
Well, it just bought me a bottle of water.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I bought another bottle of water, and it said that these jeans made me look fat. You know what? Smart ass water. So
Be careful.
be careful.
Make sure you get the smart water, not the smart ass
Right.
water.
Be
Or
very careful.
get the smart ass water.
I don't
It
think you
sounds
ever
like
want
it
to
might be
drink
more
ass
fun.
water.
No, but
Yeah.
being a smart ass sounds more fun.
It's like the Fireball you buy at the gas station. It's not real whiskey. Got to be careful. But anyway, he hosted an event for Smartwater.
He did. He was the host, and he was very excited about it. And I love how he's like, stay hydrated. But he did a whole reel. Actually, it was a story that he did, and he showed a bunch of different people that he was hanging out with there, and people seemed to have a lot of fun with him. So very fun that he got to do that.
That's the coat he was wearing when he accidentally photobombed that engagement photo.
It was. It's you now know Alex Toussaint's entire wardrobe, Tom.
At least in the winter.
Yeah, it's true.
Rad Lopez is working with Under Armour and Hype Beast.
He is.
I don't know what Hype Beast is.
No idea. Actually, I think it might be those things you put on the feet, the shoes to like tighten the laces, but I'm not sure. I don't know. But it's cool that he's part of it.
Absolutely.
Enjoy.
Emma Lovewell spoke at the American Heart Association event in Texas.
She sure did. And as a side note, Tunde is doing pieces for them like on social media too. So they're doubling down on the Peloton instructors.
It's very important for the American Heart Association to have a chapter in Texas because so many enlarged hearts in Texas.
Because everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
I saw where
it's
you're
not
going.
always good.
I saw where you're going with
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Robin Arzon wrapped up her book tour week, and she was at the Peloton studios.
Yep. And it was the only event she did on her book tour that was specific for Peloton members only. And it sold out incredibly fast because it was really an invite only event. And then people, like if there were spots left, then people got to come.
And of course, there weren't spots left.
Right.
Silly.
It was also really cool because several of the new moms came out, Becs and Jess King and Chelsea and Anna Greenberg, and they all had their babies. And then they did a little panel. So very cool. And I know that all of the Peloton members that got to go were completely stoked. So very cool event.
And speaking of Robin, she's going to have a Swagger Society event at ETH Denver.
Yep. I guess this event in 2021 was the very first DAO event. And so all of these proceeds are going to go to... I don't know what any of this means. I can't even pretend that I know.
This is like
It's
2020.
like another language.
It says 2023 is the year of the spork. The spork is the go-to tool that the Buffacorn family uses in their everyday life. Like, this is word salad. I have no idea what I just read.
But I will say this, to Robin's whole point is that there is a new like lifestyle occurring and we are being left behind. So like regardless of what you think about all of this, and I am not exactly sure what I think.
Right.
But regardless, there is stuff happening and she is trying to make sure people know about it and to be inclusive of it. So regardless of your feelings on everything else, at least she is trying to make sure that every type of person is represented in this. And clearly, there's a lot of us, myself included, have no idea what is happening.
No idea. Now, this could be something that in 30 years people play back and it looks like have you ever seen that clip of the Today Show where they're talking about email and they're like, there's a little A with a circle around it. What am I supposed to do with that? Where do I even find it on my keyboard? Right? Like maybe I'll sound like that in 30 years, but for the moment, I have no idea what I'm saying.
I know. Just there's some spork event. The year of the spork.
Apparently, Web3 and sporks. That's all you need to know. All you need to know. Logan Aldridge was giving people tips to improve their golf swing on the gram.
He sure was. And I love that he gave specific exercises that you could do to help with your golf swing. It's not as easy as people think. And I know this from Tonal because there's a lot of golf programming over on Tonal.
Yeah.
And I love that that Logan is making sure that people are aware of it over on Peloton. Also, there are a ton of golfers who use Peloton. So this is really good information for them to have. So,
in fact, in the coming weeks, we're going to talk to somebody who's very prominent in the golf world.
Yes.
About his love of Peloton.
Yes.
Kristen McGee was hanging out with former Peloton instructor Chase Tucker not too long ago.
Yes. And I just thought it was a nice little picture, a nice moment. And I wanted to share it. And that is all.
Yeah. They're still friends.
Yeah. That's nice.
Coming up next, Angelo is going to answer the question, can you lower your cholesterol through nutrition?
The Clip Out.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube from MetPro, it's Angelo here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions. Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back.
I have a curious question from Marie Sinha. And she says that she has borderline cholesterol and that her doctors tell her that it is familial. Is it possible to lower the cholesterol on her own without a statin? So right now she works to keep her weight down and she does monitor her blood work every 3 months. So she's like, this is not a medical question. She just wants to know if there is a way to do it through nutrition.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, great.
There is. Now, it's all, well, it's like anything. And of course, disclaimer, not a doctor. Ask your doctor this because they're the ones that are going to know all of your medical circumstance. But in any circumstance, diet and lifestyle will improve. Now, the thing is, the term familial refers to a genetic predisposition.
Right.
So here's what I want to address with that. So what does that mean? Does that mean that, well, because it's heredity, nothing I can do? Well, no, what it means is it's even that much more important that you implement the tools that you have. That means it's even more important that you are regularly exercising. You're going to want to do some cardiovascular exercise. It doesn't have to be brutishly, like you don't have to sign up for a boot camp to get the benefits when it comes to blood work improvements. And this is across the board, not just cholesterol, across the board. Regular, consistent aerobic activity has been absolutely linked to improved cardiovascular health and improved blood work. When you decrease the amount of saturated foods and you decrease the amount of sugars and processed foods and just junk food in your diet, that is absolutely clearly linked to improvements. Now, the degree is, when it comes to cholesterol, is not fair. There's no parity across the board. That's the reality. Talk to your doctor about it. I would encourage you, Maria, and ask them what degree they feel that you can improve it. Because some people, I had a client once with exceptionally high cholesterol. I mean, he was in 900s. I mean, that's unusual, exceptionally high. It was heredity, familial, because I knew what he ate and he exercised regularly. So what's the point? Well, the point is, how high would it have been if you were eating good and wasn't exercising regularly?
Yeah.
So, you know, the question is, talk to your doctor about a multidisciplinary approach to this. Is this something appropriate to handle with just lifestyle modification, or is it this best route to have a medical intervention? That's, of course, between you and your doctor. But yes, absolutely. I want to encourage you in any way I can to say, exercise regularly, eat clean, make it a habit. Don't take a shotgun approach. Okay, so I have lots of people all the time say, so I've heard that going vegan is the best thing for this. And then they ask me, should I go vegan? And I say, no, just do this. And they say, why? Is it not good? And I say, no, it's great for stuff like that. Why? Because I'd rather you implement changes you'll actually follow through with ongoing than go vegan for 10 days of your life and then right back to where we started.
Yeah.
Now, if there is something within you, if you have a history that says, hey, I can go plant-based, I can do this, and you believe you could follow through with that, then there's even, more tools in your court to attack something like this. But for the average person, this is my blanket approach, and that is figure out what small improvements we can make over time that will stick ongoing. That's what you're looking for. So hopefully that's helpful, Maria. Talk to your doctor about it, of course.
Definitely good advice.
And I would think also that, like, if you make that small change, then that becomes normal, and then you can make the next small change, right?
Yeah.
That's
really
how
good
we
point.
sneak up on you.
I know. It's what you did to me, you bastard.
Slow and steady. That's how we get Tom.
Well, if people would like you to sneak up on them, where can they find you?
metpro.co/TCO.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Guys.
Peloton artist collaboration.
The latest artist collaboration features Kylie Minogue.
I'm excited about this.
It's a name I know. I don't think I know one Kylie Minogue song. I've heard the name for years, but
She has a lot of dance songs. I bet you just don't know. Because there's a lot of things that got played that, like, it's one of those, I feel like Kylie Minogue is one of those artists that, like, her name isn't memorable to, like, connected to songs. And I feel this way about a lot of artists.
Yeah.
And I feel like Kylie Minogue is one of them. But I happen to know it only because there was a brief time in the 90s I listened to a lot of dance music. And then I got kind of hooked on her music. And she has a lot of really fun stuff. And she's continued to make music this, like, forever. Like you said, you've listened to her name for years. So I think this will be a really good one. And it's a lot of instructors that I really enjoy that are doing the classes. So I'm also looking forward to it completely selfishly as well.
well, you can also look forward to some Kylie Minogue lane break, apparently.
Yay! Yes, DJ John Michael teased there's going to be two new levels. So
I thought there was going to be a Chuck Woolery artist spotlight. 2 and 2.
nope, just two.
Okay.
Past guest update.
We have past guest updates plenty.
We do.
So we will
Buckle up.
Yes, we will start with Anya Adams, who you might remember is a big-time TV director.
Yes.
She directed episodes of Blackish. And what else?
Oh
The
my
Mini
God,
Project?
she had
I think
so
she was
many
on- I mean, it
things.
was tons of stuff.
I just remember her talking about, like, there was this new project she was working on and she couldn't tell us what it was. And then now it's out and it's called Prom Pact and it's going to be debuting on Disney Plus.
On March 31st.
Yeah.
So it is almost upon us.
It is. Also, I've seen a lot of her stuff pop up because I have been watching Ginny in Georgia. That's something else that she produced and several of the episodes she had done. So it was really fun to see her name pop up when I was watching that.
Yeah, I remember the first time it popped up, we're like, why do we... Oh, yeah.
We totally talked to her.
Stacey Sims is featured in Self magazine.
Yes, and I love this. I love this for Women's History Month, and I love that she is talking about things that I really feel like I need to learn more about, and she always gives such great information. So definitely want to check that out in the issue of Self magazine.
I wasn't sure if I should where to file this, but she is technically a past guest. So I went
She's a
ahead and-
past and current.
Yes, so included it there. But Dr. Jenn Mann was featured in The Sun.
Yeah, it's really cool. She was talking about the whole Hailey Bieber, Kylie Jenner, Selena Gomez issue. I don't exactly know what's going on, but I know it's like drama.
Yes.
And so she had words to say. But my favorite in Dr. Jenn style is these women who have millions of dollars and have successful careers and are grown-ass women. Grown-ass adults.
Yes.
I love her.
Yeah, she says that they're developmentally stunted.
Yes. It's very immature. You get them, Dr. Jenn.
Absolutely. I don't know what's going on, but I'm agreeing with her.
Absolutely.
And finally, for past guest updates, we talked to Kim Holderness a while back from the Holderness family. You might know their viral videos or the fact that they won the Amazing Race.
Yes, and I really loved this video. They're going to be doing a 4-part docu-series where they talk about the Amazing Race and how they got in shape for it. And they are some intense workouts, including carrying kettlebells up 7 flights of stairs daily.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this. And like I said, there's going to be doing several parts to this. So make sure you check it out.
In case you missed it.
So some guide programs are finally being released into the wild.
They are. So if you will remember, 7 weeks is the magic number. So these guide programs came out 7 weeks ago. Rebecca Kennedy, Straight to the Core, and Ben Alldis' Stronger You. Well, both of them are now out for everybody. So the 7 weeks is up. They're out there. Go get them. People are raving about both. And I know both instructors have lots of ways they are interacting. They have thoughts behind their programming and why they did it. Rebecca Kennedy has a challenge that you can follow. She's even got screenshots. You can check off all the classes as you take them. And so definitely want to check all that out.
Krista McGee is teaching her first yoga for cycling class.
Yes, this is going to be a new series, and the yoga is specific to those who take a lot of cycling classes. So definitely want to make sure people get to check that out as well.
So there is an upcoming row challenge that they made some adjustments to.
Yeah, so the challenge tiers in February were as follows. The bronze was 20,000 meters, silver was 50,000, gold was 80,000 meters. But then in March, they changed it to 2,000 for bronze, 5,000 for silver, and 8,000 for gold. I feel like that was an oopsie. Somebody hit an extra zero.
Yeah, that's my guess as well. Because it's so even, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just like, oh.
And just based on how they do the running tiers, like it's like 15 miles a month is a gold. Like I can't believe they'd be like 80,000 meters for gold on the rower. Row your ass off,
Yeah,
literally.
That's a lot. I don't know the metric system, but that's too much.
I just thought it was cute that it was like, oops.
They were like, why is nobody joining this challenge?
So we're sharing a screenshot that says that the person can't wait for Total Strength 3 from Andy. And then somebody else replied and said, Andy mentioned in an Instagram live a week or so ago that there will be a Total Strength 3. He did not mention when, but hoping it's this year. So wanted to make sure we shared that with you. If you were a fan, and a lot of people are, it's coming.
Kirsten Ferguson is doing a gospel tread class.
She is. Actually, it occurred this week, and people absolutely went crazy for it. They loved it. And we haven't really seen gospel in the tread classes. We've seen Cliff do them for the bike classes. So people are super excited about it. And I think that's really lovely.
And finally, there are some upcoming invite-only events. Jen Sherman has a sing-along class on March 10th.
Yes.
And Jess Sims has one on March 11th.
Yes. And so in case you're not sure what that means that you had to be invited to be in the studio. A lot of people got these invites and are not able to go. So maybe some other lucky people are going to get in. And then, of course, you can take them at home along live.
Yes.
That's great. And then there is a little bit of a rumor that potentially for the Jess Sims one, this is going to be it's going to be timed out for her upcoming clothing launch.
How about that?
And in this photo, you can see Nicole Barbiak with Jess Sims. And Jess Sims, if you look closely, is wearing a Saturday 60 sweatshirt that I'm going to guess will be sold out in less than 60 seconds because Saturday 60 and these ladies, they buy the clothes quick. So when Jess Sims clothing goes online, you're not going to get it because these ladies will have already had it. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
So don't bother.
Don't even bother.
Don't even try.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. I don't know how quickly they sell out, but I know it's going to be fast. And and I want that sweatshirt. I know it's not really a shocker.
Not at all.
So Eric, my head is better. I want the sweatshirt.
And coming up after this, we're going to talk to Liz Briones. She lost 181 pounds.
This week, as of this week, 185. No, as of this week, it was 100. As of this week, it's 185 pounds, Tom.
Okay, I was going to say 180 pounds in a week. That's not good.
No, that would not be good.
Yes.
We would be worried about Liz.
And we don't normally sit there and get super
caught up in weight loss
because there's other reasons, but that's a major achievement. She's going to talk about everything that went into that and the choices she made. And we're going to do all that coming up right after this.
checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Liz Briones. Hey, Liz, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
We're so excited to have you, Liz. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I always like to start with kind of a background of how Peloton came into your life. So tell us when you first found out about Peloton and decided, I got to get this thing.
So for me, I did spin classes at my local gym. And they always had, I'm a teacher, so I'd go super early in the morning. And they canceled their 5 a.m. classes. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to keep spinning. And this was back in 2019. And I didn't know much about the Peloton then. I knew a little bit. There's a studio store at our local mall, like in Virginia. So I kept seeing it there, and I checked it out, and I was like, I want this really bad, but I don't know. And so then I just was like, I'm going to do it. So I bought it back in the fall of 2019 and just fell in love with it.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you were before the pandemic. I feel like there's been so many folks that have joined after the pandemic.
It's become the new like dividing line of kind of when you joined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that that's been so long at this point. So now you said you were doing spin classes. Were you doing spin classes like a couple times a week? Was it a daily thing? Were you pretty fit in general at that point, or were you kind of like struggling to get fit? Like what was your background with fitness before that?
Okay. I have a lot of answers to that question. So I was always an athlete. I started out running. Running was my big sport, cross country and track. I started running with a private coach when I was 11 years old because my older sister, Victoria, who she was a really good runner. She was an NCAA champion and ran for Nike. And since she's older than me, my mom would take me with and be like, you're running too. And luckily, I ended up falling in love with it. And I ran at NC State back in the early 2000s, and then had some medical issues later in which I gained a ridiculous amount of weight and ended up weighing over 400 pounds. Couldn't do any exercise, couldn't do anything, but I still loved it and I wanted to do it. It took a toll on me mentally, it took a toll on me physically. And so then in 2019, I had the gastric sleeve surgery. And I had lost some weight leading up to it from walking and just diet and stuff like that. But did the gastric sleeve in January of 2019, dropped a good amount right before I got that Peloton. I was nervous about hopping on, weighing so much, but never had a problem with it. And then continued to lose, did great with the Peloton, and then ended up luckily, after being told I'd never have kids, be pregnant with my second son. So I gained some weight again being pregnant. And so then since I weighed so much, I had a second weight loss surgery because often when you weigh as much as I'm only 5'2", so it's a lot of weight on a little frame. So I had a second one this past November called the biliopancreatic diversion with duodenal switch, which is very rare. The first one had
being able to say all that is very rare. That's
yeah, that was a mouthful.
I feel like that's the first test. I know that they like to give you tests to see if you're ready for stuff like that. The first test is like, you go home and learn how to say this. And if you have enough commitment to do that, we'll think about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, they call it the switch. It's much easier with that name, but they call it the switch.
Yeah.
And that's more the sleeve is more the size of the stomach. The switch is more how you digest food. And since then, it's been dropping more.
What is the theory behind, like, how does that function, if you don't mind us asking? I don't know about that.
I was just going to clarify, the gastric sleeve is the one that puts a band on the stomach, right?
No, the gastric sleeve actually removes 85% of your stomach. So they take it out and they stitch it up.
Okay.
The band is I think they call it the band. I don't know much about that. My particular surgeon, I'm not sure if he does that one. But
gotcha.
The sleeve, they take out 85% of your stomach. So you end up eating less food. You're not as hungry.
Okay.
And then the switch has to do with how you digest food. And I don't know if I can actually explain it the right way, but I know it has it's the way the food goes down. It kind of almost makes it so that you don't take in nutrients. Like I will forever be on a certain type of vitamins called ADEC bariatric vitamins because I'm not as nourished as the average person is through that kind of surgery. It's very rare. 2% of all weight loss surgery patients have this particular procedure. It's very rare.
Okay.
And is it rare because so I'll just ask, why is it rare? I can guess all day.
That's a great question because I don't really know. They don't do a lot of. My surgeon is one of the only surgeons in the area that does it in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. I'm not sure why it's so rare. I know the sleeve and bypass are the really big common ones. This one, it's much more invasive. And they talked to me when I first was doing sleeve that I might have this as a second procedure. Some people do them both at the same time, the sleeve and this one. But because I was so incredibly obese, this is the one that was for me. And I'm down 185 pounds now.
Wow.
Congrats.
That's amazing. And just to be clear, we're not questioning your choices. We're just trying to figure out, we're not familiar with this one. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's good to teach other or like to educate the public about it because it's not very known. And when it is known, it's kind of can be frowned upon or known as like a easy way out when it's not at all.
Yeah. So we have talked about that before. I can't remember
Sarah Clark. And we've had other people over the years, but Sarah Clark most recently.
She was very recent.
Talked about her weight loss surgery. And every time we hear these stories, I'm like, oh, so this is the easy way.
Right?
This doesn't sound easy at all.
It doesn't. But
hard.
I would love to hear your thoughts on why it was so hard. If you, whatever details you feel like sharing, not to be, all up in your business. But I think, like you said, it's really good to educate people that this is not something that's taken lightly.
It's not a magic wand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's really hard mentally, almost harder mentally than physically. For me, it was because a lot of the issues for me with gaining weight and everything is my mentality of food and overeating and eating disorders. And so it's hard because all of a sudden you can't eat much, but you're in this routine and you're used to it. We had to go through at least 6 months of pre-op where you meet with a dietitian every month for 6 months. I had to lose a little bit of weight, met with a weight loss physician, the surgeon, all these other different things you have to do before you can even get approved to have the surgery to make sure it's something that you can sustain and have a positive effect from. So you work a lot on the mental part of it. So that makes it hard. Physically, it's hard on the body. You can get sick easily. Many different things. I found it harder with the sleeve one, but that might be because that was my first time having weight loss surgery. The second time, I'm like, okay, well, I've done this once before. There's a 2-week pre-op diet of only liquids. Then post-op, you got 2 weeks again, and then it's purees for 2 weeks. So you go 6 weeks without having food. You have food, but it's like protein shakes and Jello and broth and stuff like that
no solid
because you're
food.
Healing. Yeah, no solid food because you're healing, and so it takes a lot mentally, but it was definitely needed for me. I have zero regrets doing it. It's brought my life back.
I did a liquid diet for a week once, and it was rough. I was part of a weight loss study, and then they locked you in a hospital room for a week because they wanted to make sure, since it was for a study.
That would be easier.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It was easier because I didn't really have a choice once I signed on. I mean, I could have said I'm done and they'd have let me go, I wasn't being held hostage. But it was that was rough. To go a week with just drinking the shakes that they would bring you.
Yeah.
And they weren't big shakes either. You hear shake and you think
McDonald's.
Right.
Get the Shamrock Special or whatever the thing is.
They're bringing you what felt like a shot glass size of vanilla shake, just the most plainest stuff. Ugh. Yeah.
Well, I would think that it might be well, not might be, I think it would be hard afterwards too, that like, continuing like when you're healing, and I feel like this is very fresh on my mind since I'm going through the kind of healing I'm going through right now. Like I've always been one to reach for food as comfort, and so it's like when you don't feel good. I know when I was pregnant, I always felt like this too. This is before they used to say, oh, you can keep exercising. Back then they really didn't care, do whatever, just take care of yourself. And so I know that I ate kind of not great when I was pregnant, and that was just kind of because I was used to eating comfort. There was so many things I couldn't do comfortably that food was a comfort, food, like being able to eat. And so I would think you're going through this healing of this major surgery that just happened to your body, and you can't even do the thing that you would normally do to make yourself feel better. I think that would be really, really hard.
That's definitely part of why it's so hard too, because you're, like you said, you're used to grabbing something that to make you feel better, or just out of pure habit, and like eating late at night out of pure habit, and breaking those habits. But that's why we have those 6 months beforehand to work with a dietitian. We have a weight loss surgery psychologist that we work with. So being able to do all that, they work as a team and to help us.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you continue to see the psychologist after your surgery? Is that something that continues after care?
Funny enough, I haven't actually met with the weight loss surgery psychologist yet. My appointment's coming up. I've done support groups with her because we do a monthly support group. And so I've met her that way, but I haven't actually had an appointment with her, since you do have to be approved by a psychologist before the surgery. But for me, I have my own. And so he was able to do it for me.
Oh, that's great.
So that must have been, I would think, this is me projecting. Let me tell you how you feel about things.
Go ahead and mansplain to her, Tom.
I would think it would have been, even though it's a joyous occasion, on some level, it must have been very disconcerting to get pregnant, knowing that weight gain comes along with that.
Yeah.
Was that troubling, even though you're ultimately glad?
Yeah, I wasn't too nervous because I lost a good amount before it, but it definitely was on my mind, knowing that I could gain weight and then just not taking in as much food. How was that going to affect being pregnant? I did gain a good amount when I was pregnant, like probably 80 or 90 pounds between that, because for me, exercise was an issue during pregnancy. My first son was born 3 months early. So because I'm so high risk when I'm pregnant, since I had a premature baby earlier, I know exercise is good for you when you're pregnant, but it just made me really nervous being on the bike. So I walked. So going from exercising so much to nothing, and then not always eating the best during that time, and then just being pregnant alone, I put on a lot of weight, but I was able to get that plus more off. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, I would think that it seems like it would be a lot of very hard work even after the surgery. Do you have anything you'd like to share what that's been like after you did the second surgery and being able to get that weight off? I mean, 185 pounds that's a lot of weight. And what does it feel like mentally?
I feel great. Honestly, I feel great. I still have a long way to go. So I know I'm not quite there yet. I have about 100 more to lose, but I know it's going to come. I just need to be patient, take it day by day. And consistency is key. Being able to, I don't have to hop on every single day, but do the best I can to do something active. That's always one of my goals, is do something active, even if it's 5 minutes every single day. It could be meditation, could be running a 5K. There's a variety. And I think variety is very important too. So not saying that you get bored doing one thing, but it's just good for your body to constantly switch up different types of exercise, both mentally and physically. But I feel wonderful. Before I couldn't go upstairs. I was talking to a friend recently about how I couldn't get off the floor, and I would have to go on the floor to do speech therapy for my son. And my legs would just fall asleep. And then I'd try to stand up. I couldn't get up. And all this when I was over 400 pounds. And it was just sad. I couldn't do the littlest stuff with my son. Now I have 2 boys and I'm running around after them and just being able to live life.
That's
For sure.
That's wonderful.
I mean, if you think about it, 185 pounds, that's basically how much I weigh.
Yeah.
So that's like if you were just carrying me around all day.
Yeah, and
Like, that's a lot.
he would be a lot to carry
I would
around
be.
all day.
Yeah. Because unlike your body, I would say things and irritate you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's just an incredible amount of weight loss, and to stick with it. I mean, we've known people in our personal life that have done the weight loss surgery, and it's hard to stick with it for long periods of time.
Yeah.
And they've had some situations where they've done some backsliding on that. And I think that's another thing that's kind of contrary to popular belief, that like you just, like Tom said, just flip a switch and it's super easy and all the weight just flies off.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't have to work hard ever again. And it's not like that. Like, that's something you're going to struggle with. When I say struggle with, I mean, you have to stay focused on those foods. You said that vitamin, you have to, like, that's just something you're always going to have to think about. So it's definitely not an easy choice. And I commend you for making that choice and doing the hard work. That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm fortunate that I love to exercise. So being able to get on the Peloton and I did the Pelofondo. So I did it 7 hours straight. I did the 100 miles.
Wow.
Like, I could have never walked half a mile before, let alone ride 100 miles in one day. So I love being able to go hard and being able to do different types of activities. I don't have a Peloton tread as much as I'm dying to have one, but I do the app. I use the app and I go out on runs and I go on walks outside with it. And I just do so many different, the strength training, like everything. I just love it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I can see how you light up when you talk about it. That's really cool.
I'm very passionate about exercise. I love it. And fortunately, I always have since I was a little kid. I was the tomboy that would get dressed up in a dress and then go beat up all the boys in ice hockey. I'm from Chicago, so that's more our sports, and I loved it.
Well, and you like exercise so much. You have a walk that you're getting ready to do, the suicide prevention walk. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention every year does one huge event where you walk through the night. So you start at sundown and you walk till the sun comes up. It's anywhere between 16 and 18 miles, depending on the city that year. And it raises funds and awareness to help prevent suicides and end the stigma of mental health. And this is my 4th one that I've done. I've done 2 previous in DC and 1 in Boston. And it's just a life-changing event. It's incredible. Every person has a story. Every person has some meaning to it, and everyone comes together and they know they're not alone. And it's just a phenomenal event.
Would you like to share your story of why you did it?
For me personally, I have struggled myself with mental health issues. And so about 10 years ago or so, I was driving home. I was going through a hard time, and this commercial came on the radio for it. And it was in DC that year, and I'm from DC. So it had, I heard it and I was like, this is me. And I was pulling into my house and just on my phone signed up. I was like, I'm going to try this. And you do have to fundraise to do it. I'm like, I don't care. I will figure this out. I made some close friends through it. We made a team. I've raised, I think, over $30,000 now for them throughout the last 10 years. Because I've done the overnights. They do community walks every year in different, your local communities. They've done hiking stuff. I've done hiking stuff. And it's just a phenomenal organization that means a lot to me. And they're very supportive. And I have a huge, not to plug this because it's around the corner, but I'm so excited that I'm having a fundraising event this upcoming Saturday. It's a drag show with a huge raffle and drink specials at our local restaurant, Clarendon's, which is my favorite restaurant. They're so supportive. And so we do all these fun, big fundraising events that it's not just about raising the money for them, but bringing it to the community. I mean, this is going to be a huge event, and it gets people talking, and it gets people learning about how to prevent suicide and learning about mental health and mental illness and getting people talking, which is kind of the thing. Like, you break your leg, they tell you to go rest. You have issues with mental health, they say push through it. So getting that out the window and getting the help that people need.
For sure. The marketing guy in me is like, man, that commercial, what did it say?
I know.
Like, that's a very effective call to action.
Yeah, it is. It is.
They're starting to go again now, so I love it. I just driving here and I hear it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening again in DC. But they pick a different city every year. It's so cool.
So, what can the Peloton community do to support you for this upcoming? Because you said it's money raising. So, can we get some money set up for you, or have you already met your goals?
I haven't met my goal yet, but I also make my goal bigger than the required goal. But if you go to theovernight.org and you search Liz Briones, my fundraising link comes up. But really, fundraising to anyone would be great on there. But for me, it's theovernight.org. And then there's a search area and you just search Elizabeth Briones. But that's where we do a lot. I've done a lot with local businesses. This raffle I have going has over 40 prizes, which it just makes it so much fun. So yeah, just getting the word out there is the best part.
That's really cool.
Awesome.
And then back to Peloton, what's your leaderboard name?
My leaderboard name is Run Mama Run 22. I used to have a different leaderboard name in the beginning. It was what my email is before, like when I was beforehand, but it was an NC State cross country runner, but it was all different abbreviations. And when at my 100 ride, Cody tried to say it and was like, oh, screw this, partway through, because he couldn't understand what it said. And I was like, I think that means I need to change my name. So my son at races, because I love doing local 5Ks and 10Ks, he always go, when he was really little, he's 7 now, but when he was really little, he'd go, run, mama, run, run, mama, run. So that's where I came up with the Run, Mama, Run 22.
That's great.
That's awesome. I just assumed you said it 22 times. Like you just
Probably.
would not stop saying it. Yeah. He's very supportive. That way. Yeah. So, do you have a preferred instructor, or are we going to assume it's Cody since that's who you, or he's off your list now because he screwed up your leaderboard name? He totally shit the bed on your shout out. It's a shit out. That's what we'll call them. When somebody screws up a shout out, they're now called shit outs. So, yeah. But that's a long way of saying, who's your favorite instructor?
I like several of them, of course. I like Cody a lot because he gets me laughing. I love Robin because it's intense. Camilla just makes me laugh so hard. She's my new favorite. I got to meet Matt Wopers recently at Tyson's, and I'm kind of a dork, if you can't tell. And so I go into the Peloton store all the time, and I've made friends with a lot of the employees there. So one of my friends who works there was like, come early, bring the kids, because she knew I had both. My one son is just turned 2, so I have a 2 and 7-year-old. I was like, I don't know if I can go. I really want to go. And she's like, come early. We'll take care of the kids. You'll get to meet him behind the scenes. And I got to be one of the few people that hung out with him for like an hour and a half before he met the public. And he was just so awesome. Nice that he had, of course, became one of my favorites because he was just such a cool guy and so kind. But there's not a teacher I've had that I don't absolutely love.
That's wonderful. How about when you take like the running classes and other things? Do you have any that you'd like to make sure get a special mention?
Like teachers?
Uh-huh.
I like Selena a lot. And I like Robin, but I like Robin's like the running classes and stuff because I love the music. And then Maddie, because Maddie makes me laugh during it too. And he does a lot of country, and I love country music, so that makes me happy.
I love Maddie too. He's so funny.
So do you have any advice for people who are just now getting a bike?
Stick with it. Take it day by day. Build gradually. Try the low impacts and find the teachers that work well with you. For me, music is a big thing, which is why I like Cody and Robin a lot. But just give it a chance. give it a chance, stay with it. You will see gains. You will feel better mentally, physically, and just give it time and don't give up.
And I know this is hyper specific, but do you have any advice for people who are getting weight loss surgery that are incorporating Peloton? I would think you would have a very unique perspective about how to utilize the platform.
Yeah. Same with the not giving up, but know that every day is going to get easier. The weight will drop faster with doing exercise, but mentally it helps me make better food choices, if that makes sense. When I exercise, I'm just more in it. So then I'm like, I'm going to set up this plate for dinner, and I'm going to make sure I have my proteins and the different types of stuff where I'm more on track when I do that. So it helps me that way as well. But know that for anyone thinking about having weight loss surgery or has had the weight loss surgery, that getting on the bike will be easier as time goes, but you just got to stay with it, and consistency is key. And the community. Awesome. Get with the community. I am on a team called Unbreakable Links that have been taking me in. We're in a group message that goes constantly all day, every day about rides and stuff like that. And it's just been great working with them. And I've made such good friends. One was a friend from a running club who, her name's Ashley, became really close with Peloton. Like, we connected over Peloton. And so we talk about it all the time, and we hang out, we motivate each other. And I made friends with another girl from the other side of the country named Alana, who writes me all the time to check in with me and see how I'm doing and how am I feeling and what am I doing today. And it's not always about the Peloton, but it's just about life and being able to make these connections with people through an app or through the bike that I've never met before has just been life-changing.
Yeah, that community really is a game changer. It makes a huge difference. I completely agree.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Before we let you go, remind everybody all the places that they can find you and your stuff.
Oh, okay. So if you're wanting to donate, which you don't have to, but if you want to support with the overnight, it's theovernight.org, and you search Liz Briones. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's NCST, the number 8, XC Runner.
Why'd Cody have a problem with that?
I know, right? Yeah, that's my Instagram. It's NC State Cross Country Runner, but it's spelled different because that would be way too long otherwise. So it's just NCST 8, the number 8, XC Runner. So follow me on there. I post food stuff all the time. I am a vegetarian, so sometimes it's hard to figure out foods, and so I try to have a wide variety of different types. So I do post food stuff, which some people find obnoxious, but other people have reached out being like, you stop posting, I want to see more food. So I'm like, okay, well, some people apparently like it, so that's good. But motivational
That's a lesson we learned a long
everything.
time ago here, which is you'll never make everybody happy.
Amen to that.
Oh, yes. Definitely. I've sometimes learned that the hard way, but it's so true. It's so very true.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. We really appreciate it.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Flip out.
So I guess that's it for this episode. Until next week, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and I'm back on the leaderboard at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online, facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. Don't forget, next week is our 300th episode.
Oh, we got big surprises.
We got some big surprises about some things that we have planned. So you want to be sure and tune in for that. So until next time, keep pedaling
and running
and rowing.